This is lesson 7-1, part 2. We're multiplication properties of exponents. We're finishing off with some examples using the multiplication property where if you multiply the same base, you just add the exponent. So let's see some application problems here that you will be doing. So first of all, it says find the volume of a cube with side length S equals 5xyz. Okay, so we got to find the volume of that cube, and the side length is 5xyz. And they don't tell you what xyz are. They're just going to remain xyz. But they tell you that the volume is side cubed. So what that tells me is I'm going to put in for S 5, I got to hang on just a second, 5xyz, and I'm going to cube it. Now, is there anybody that wants to help do this problem? Okay, somebody that hasn't answered a question yet. Do we have a person that, okay. Tora, what's the first thing I'm going to have to do you think? 5 times 5 times 5. Yeah. 5 cubed, so 5 times 5 times 5. 100, very good, 125. And then I have xyz inside the parentheses, and it says it's cubed. So how do you think that would finish off and what that would look like?
X cubed, y cubed, and z cubed.
Exactly. And please be aware when you're doing area, volume, something like that, you need to label it even if they don't tell you what the units are. So if they don't tell you, guess what you use? Units. Units cubed. Volume is always cubic units. So, you know, if they told you inches, that's easy. Inches cubed. If they don't, you please say units. That makes it, lets a grader know that you're aware that it's got to be labeled with something. All right, so any questions on that? Next, we're looking at this problem. It says it looks quite intense. What do you think? There are parentheses within braces. Okay, and it's just another set of parentheses basically. So you always do the innermost part first and then kind of go from there, and it also looks like we're multiplying. So here's what I definitely would do on this. I'm going to leave this alone for a minute and do what's in the innermost part there, which would be 8g to the second, h to the fourth. All of that's got to be squared. So let's go ahead and square that innermost part. Anybody want to try to square that part, Ben?
16.
No. 8 squared.
Oh, 64.
64. G to the
4.
4th and h to the 8th. Okay, and then we're going to go back and square that in a minute. But while we're at it, let's go ahead and do this right-hand side. 2g h to the 5th, we got to take that to the 4th power. So somebody that hasn't answered yet today, you want to try to do that? Megan, 2 to the 4th, what would that be? 16. And then what's the rest of that?
G to the 4, h to the
20th, right. All right, now we've got to now apply the squaring right here on what's inside there. So, I got to take 64 squared. I really don't know that one off the top of my head. What is it?
It's 4096.
4096. I'm going to go ahead and put that in parentheses. Josh, what's the rest of that? G to the
8th.
and h to the
16.
okay. Now we're going to multiply these things. Okay, now remember what happens when you're multiplying with the same base. Well, first of all, I got 4096 times 16. I really got to multiply that. You got it? What is it?
65,536.
65,536. Okay, my tree, go ahead and finish that off. Now I'm multiplying with the same base. So it would be g to the 12th, because you're adding exponents now, and h to the
36.
36th. Okay, you know, yeah, that answer looks kind of crazy, but I think you got to be very organized when you're doing this and go a step at a time and don't try to do too much, and I think you'll be fine. The trick here is remembering power on a power, you multiply exponents. Multiplying with the same base, you add the exponents. Please don't get those two confused, because that would be bad. Are there any questions? All right.